Why have you always felt different? What if the biggest misunderstanding you've ever believed about yourself is that you're the problem? For years, you may have been told that you think too much, feel too deeply, or spend far too much time alone. Maybe you've learned to hide parts of your personality because they made other people uncomfortable. You stopped sharing what you noticed. You stopped explaining why crowded places exhausted you. You stopped talking about the strange feeling that you could often sense what people were feeling long before they said a single word. Eventually, you stopped asking why you felt different and simply accepted that this was who you were. But what if that difference was never a weakness waiting to be fixed? What if it was evidence that your mind has always been wired in a way very few people truly understand? In this video, we'll explore 8 signs that may reveal why you've always experienced the world differently and why discovering the answer could completely change the way you see yourself forever. Sign 1. You feel what other people never notice. One of the strongest signs of an INFJ isn't high intelligence or extraordinary creativity. It's the quiet ability to sense what other people are feeling, even when they never say a word. You notice the forced smile that everyone else believes. You hear the hesitation hidden inside a confident voice. You can walk into a room and immediately feel that something is different, even if nobody admits it. Because of this, people often find themselves telling you deeply personal things they never intended to share. They simply feel understood without knowing why. But this gift comes with a hidden cost. You don't just notice other people's emotions, you often absorb them. After spending time in tense environments or around emotionally overwhelmed people, you may feel completely drained without understanding the reason. What others experience as an ordinary conversation, you experience as emotional information your mind quietly collects. And that ability to read what remains unspoken is often the first clue that your mind works very differently from most people. Sign 2. You constantly search for deeper meaning. Most people are satisfied with knowing what happened. An INFJ can't stop asking why. When someone makes a decision, you instinctively wonder what fear, hope, or past experience led them there. When a relationship changes, you rarely accept the surface explanation because you sense there is usually a deeper story hiding underneath. This constant search for meaning shapes the way you experience almost everything. You don't enjoy small talk for very long because your mind naturally drifts toward conversations about purpose, values, dreams, and the hidden reasons people do what they do. Sometimes this makes you feel disconnected from those around you, especially when everyone else seems content discussing things that feel temporary or superficial. But this curiosity is not a flaw. It is one of the reasons INFJs often understand people on a level that surprises them. While others focus on events, you quietly connect the patterns behind those events, searching for meaning where most people never think to look. Sign 3. You often understand people better than they understand themselves. Another surprising sign of an INFJ is the ability to recognize patterns in people long before those patterns become obvious. You notice small inconsistencies between what someone says and how they behave. A person may insist they're happy, yet you quietly sense the sadness behind their smile. Someone may speak with confidence, but you notice the fear hidden in their hesitation. Because you naturally connect these subtle signals, you often predict changes in relationships or people's behavior weeks or even months before anyone else sees them. At times, this can feel almost unsettling, especially when others dismiss your intuition, only to realize later that you were right. But this ability isn't magic. It's the result of a mind that constantly gathers tiny pieces of emotional information and unconsciously connects them into a bigger picture. While most people focus on individual moments, your mind is quietly searching for patterns, allowing you to understand people in ways they often struggle to understand themselves. Sign 4. You need solitude more than most people realize. One of the most misunderstood traits of an INFJ is the deep need for solitude. People often assume you enjoy being alone because you're shy or antisocial, but the truth is very different. Solitude is where your mind finally becomes quiet after absorbing the emotions, conversations, and energy of everyone around you. Even after spending time with people you genuinely love, you may still feel an overwhelming need to step away and recharge. Without that space, your thoughts become scattered, your patience grows thin, and you begin feeling emotionally exhausted without understanding why. This is because your mind is constantly processing far more information than most people realize. Time alone isn't an escape from life. It's where you organize your thoughts, reconnect with yourself, and regain emotional balance. While others recharge by seeking more stimulation, you recover through stillness. And once you understand that this isn't a weakness but a psychological need, you stop feeling guilty for protecting the quiet moments that allow you to become your best self. Sign 5. You see patterns that other people completely miss. While many people focus on what is happening right now, an INFJ naturally pays attention to how small moments connect over time. You notice repeated behaviors that other people dismiss as coincidence. A single comment, a subtle change in tone, or a shift in someone's attitude may seem insignificant to everyone else. But your mind quietly stores each detail until a larger pattern begins to emerge. That is why you often have strong instincts about people or situations long before there is any obvious evidence. Friends may tell you that you're overthinking, only to be surprised when events unfold exactly as you expected. This doesn't happen because you can predict the future. It happens because your brain constantly connects emotional cues, experiences, and behaviors into a bigger picture that others fail to see. Although this ability can sometimes make you question yourself, it also becomes one of your greatest strengths, helping you make wiser decisions and understand the hidden direction of situations before they become visible to everyone else. Sign 6. You often feel misunderstood, even by people close to you. Perhaps one of the most painful experiences for an INFJ is the feeling of being misunderstood. It isn't that people dislike you. In fact, many enjoy being around you because you listen, support, and genuinely care about their lives. Yet when it comes to explaining your own thoughts and emotions, you may struggle to find words that truly capture what is happening inside your mind. You often think in layers, connecting ideas, emotions, and possibilities all at once, while most conversations stay on the surface. As a result, you may simplify what you mean, only to realize later that nobody understood what you were really trying to say. Over time, this can make you quieter, not because you have nothing to share, but because you've grown tired of feeling unseen. The irony is that the person who understands others so deeply is often the one who feels least understood. And that quiet loneliness is something many INFJs carry without ever talking about it. Sign 7. Your greatest strength can also become your greatest burden. The same qualities that make an INFJ unique can also become the source of their greatest struggles. Because you care so deeply, you often carry emotional weight that doesn't belong to you. Because you understand people so well, you sometimes excuse behavior that should never have been tolerated. Because you naturally see the good in others, you may hold on to relationships long after they've become unhealthy, hoping people will eventually become who you believe they could be. Over time, this can leave you emotionally exhausted, disappointed, and wondering why you always seem to give more than you receive. The truth is, empathy without boundaries eventually becomes self-neglect. Understanding someone's pain does not mean you must carry it. Loving someone's potential does not mean sacrificing your own peace. One of the most important lessons every INFJ must learn is that protecting your energy is not selfish. It is what allows your compassion to remain a strength instead of slowly becoming the burden that quietly consumes you. Sign 8. You stop chasing acceptance and start trusting yourself. Perhaps the clearest sign of a healthy INFJ isn't heightened intuition or deep empathy. It's the moment you stop trying to make everyone understand you. For years, you may have adjusted your personality to fit different people, stayed quiet to avoid conflict, or questioned your instincts because others couldn't see what you saw. But with time, something begins to change. You realize that not everyone is meant to understand the way your mind works. And that's perfectly okay. Instead of seeking constant validation, you begin trusting the quiet voice inside you. You become more selective about where you invest your time, your energy, and your compassion. You stop apologizing for needing solitude. You stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace. And perhaps most importantly, you stop measuring your worth by how well you fit into the expectations of others. Because the strongest INFJs are not the ones who finally become like everyone else. They are the ones who finally become comfortable being exactly who they have always been. Final reflection: being different was never your weakness. If there is one thing to remember after watching this video, it is this: being different has never been your greatest weakness. For many INFJs, the real struggle was never the way their minds worked. It was believing they had to hide those differences just to feel accepted. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your intuition is not your imagination. Your need for solitude is not something you should apologize for. These qualities are part of what allows you to understand people, recognize patterns, and see possibilities that others often overlook. The goal was never to become more like everyone else. The goal is to understand yourself well enough that you no longer feel the need to pretend. If this video helped you see yourself in a new way, comment the number 1 below. I'd love to know how many people finally realized that they were never broken. They were simply different. And sometimes, the qualities that make you feel misunderstood today become the very qualities that make your life extraordinary tomorrow.